Masters of the Air enters the second half of its Season 1 run, with most of the main cast members either dead or in enemy territory. Episode 6, Part 6, focuses on Bucky's attempts to survive behind enemy lines, whilst in stark contrast, the remaining 100th Bomb Group crewmen are given time off to recover after their relentless work schedules. We begin with Bucky at a farm in enemy territory. He wanders the fields looking for food and shelter. It isn't long before Bucky is hunted down and captured though. Bucky is taken on a train into the heart of Nazi Germany. He's surprised to see the effects of the war on the enemy. The captives are ushered through a war-torn city, with buildings on fire and ruins all around them. As they are walked through the streets, the German locals taunt and jeer at them. Soon they grow in anger and attack the prisoners. A few Americans are killed by the German citizens and Bucky is beaten. He falls to the ground and passes out. Bucky is the only survivor of this group. How does Bucky evade capture? Next, he awakens on a carriage, among a heap of rotting corpses. He is being taken to the woods to be buried. The Germans are unaware that Bucky is alive. He plays dead and then makes his escape. It's a nail-biting sequence as an exhausted Bucky runs for his life through the forest. Back at base, the crew are losing hope. In 4 months, they have lost 32 out of the original 35 crews. Crewmen have resorted to drinking, fighting, and sleeping around to deal with the pressures of the war. They try their best to forget the horrors and traumas of war, but morale is at an all-time low. Why is Crosby sent to Oxford? Crosby is sent to Oxford University to represent the 100th Bomb Group at a conference for the Allied nations. It's a chance to keep Crosby busy, so he doesn't have to reflect on all of the death and destruction around him. In Oxford, he befriends his new roommate, the Brit, Sandra. In the third subplot, Rosenthal and his crew are given a week off and are whisked away to a mansion to recover. Rosenthal isn't interested in playing games and relaxing though, he just wants to get back to work. He believes that he was in a rhythm, having completed 3 missions in 3 days. Rosenthal didn't want to stop. Eventually, Rosenthal loosens up and enjoys some quality time with his team though. Back in Oxford, Crosby and Sandra get to know each other a little better. They talk about the war and their families. Crosby opens up a little, discussing Bubbles. He blames himself for Bubbles' death, having taken his job from him. Crosby thinks it should have been him who had died. Sandra says that Hitler is the only person to blame for all the death and destruction. Later, the couple go to a party. Crosby clearly likes Sandra, even though he is married with a wife. They look set to kiss when Sandra receives an urgent message. She needs to leave immediately. Sandra passes Crosby her number and asks him to call her if he is ever around in the future. Then she steals a bike and rides away. How does Masters of the Air Season 1 Episode 6 end? The episode concludes with Bucky's storyline. He is found in the woods, passed out from exhaustion. Bucky is captured once again. He is then taken to be interrogated by Lieutenant Houseman, played by Louis Hoffman. Houseman admits that he already has a lot of information on Bucky. He offers him a cigarette and whiskey. Bucky accepts the treats, but refuses to give the German any new information. Houseman asks Bucky about Gale and the squadron's last mission. Because Bucky's name wasn't on any flight records, they suspect that he is a spy. Bucky refuses to comply and is taken on a train once more. Where is Bucky sent to? In the final scene, Bucky is moved to a concentration camp. He notices his friends from behind the fencing and is reunited with Gale. It would appear that Gale and his crewmen have survived the last mission and were subsequently captured by the Germans. It's a bittersweet conclusion, as Bucky and Gale are happy to be reunited and to see one another still alive, although they are now prisoners of war. What did you think of Masters of the Air Season 1, Episode 6? Comment below.